People who refuse to vote for Biden over his stance on the Israel Palestine conflict. How would a Trump victory in 2024 be beneficial to the Palestinian cause? This is what I'm saying and feeling. I'm pro-Palestine. But we literally cannot have another Trump. Everyone needs to think big picture about this right now. If Trump is elected, the risk will be infinitely higher, worse, awful in every way. Just admit that you hate what you're doing. The choice you have to make sucks, and we need to start encouraging younger people who exhibit much lower levels of narcissism to run for office. We need to get some smart people in this Suba. Let's push this generation to the next fucking stage, start the healing recovering. 30 of MAGAs support Hamas over Israel according to a recent poll. This is Hamas specifically and not Palestinians. Why? They are marinated 24/7 in Russian propaganda. Massive increase in West Bank settlements, while turning a blind eye to Russia rearming its Hamas proxy, setting up the next Israel-Hamas conflict which will keep Netanyahu and his thugs in power. Any American Muslims who think sitting out this election or voting for Trump will help Palestinians will be in for a rude awakening, to put it kindly. We are in the situation we are in because of lesser evil voting. Problem is, there no longer is a lesser evil. We help Israel commit genocide against Palestine because our leaders are too weak to stand up to Israel. Or if we help Israel commit genocide against Palestine because our leaders want to help Israel. I will not vote for anyone who advocates our assistance of Israel in wiping the nation and people of Palestine off the face of the earth. If that displeases you, perhaps your party should have nominated a candidate with a fucking soul. Trump winning the election will not benefit the Palestinian because he's pro-Israel, which is also why it's so weird that the leftists kept calling him Nazi. The guy is not a Nazi, he's just an asshole. TBH, I believe Biden wouldn't be able to resolve the conflict given another 4 years. Trump will certainly resolve one way or another. Whether is it a good way or a bad way? For the Ukrainian, no. Not so good. I hope the EU will prepare to put more effort for Ukraine. Trump is ready to pull out the support and put them towards Israel. You do realize a lot of people saying this are astroturfing bots, right? Just the sloppy ones that failed to hide post history, or were posting too rapidly to delete old comments and still have the effect they wanted, since if they delete too soon, people won't see them. Just because it's illogical doesn't invalidate not voting for Biden. If you try a little bit, you can see the result of American-supplied bombs, children dismembered, whole blocks rubble. You're surprised that the Arab Americans and anti-war lefties are taking a stand. People have emotions and morals. We're not robots. I'd still vote for Biden because I've become numb and is obviously the lesser evil. But to not understand why shows either supreme lack of emotional intelligence or willful ignorance. Donald Trump is practically guaranteed to win the electoral votes here in Utah, so I don't feel that not voting for Biden is a vote for Trump or just throwing my vote away. It's how I'm going to vote yet, that I may sleep easier knowing my vote isn't endorsing someone funding a genocide. I'll still much rather take Biden over Trump. And if I lived in a swing state, I'd vote for him. But I also don't feel it's my place to tell a Palestinian American that they need to fall in line and just vote for him. You can say you're not gonna vote for Biden, then vote for him if he's the only candidate. Want to hear that their candidate is unpopular, that maybe someone else should be put up as a challenger to give us a choice, or that maybe his policy positions aren't ideal and he needs to change. If you can't exercise even the shadow of your political voice, what power do you even have? Are people still stupid enough to believe that the CIA really wants to help humanity? Biden or Trump? It doesn't really freaking matter. These questions are raised to give us a false sense of control and make the sheep believe that one or the other matters and will change shit. Left wing or right wing belongs to the same vulture. We need to shoot down the bird. I don't think anyone believes Trump would be better in this scenario. He recognized Jerusalem as capital of Israel. Remember, we have the same issues in Germany. Our current government is an actual nightmare and they'll be remembered as such. But the alternative parties are even more in support of Israel and Islamophobic. It's just maddening. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The vote is an illusion to give people the sense of control. Do you really think America, the most powerful country in the world, would just let some senile old guy who barely has it together rule over all and make changes? Come on now. Vote or don't vote, it doesn't change what's already planned. They don't care about the Israelis or the Palestinians. I don't think the average American can even point to Gaza on a map. Many of the crazy ones just want the left to lose, and they will sacrifice the whole country for it, one way or another. That's all politics is now. Middle school lunchroom fights. I don't think the threat of Trump is enough to endorse arming an active genocide. The US has had decades to rein Israel in, and now the inevitable has happened. Just Biden actively sent arms to help them bomb refugees in tents. Anyone with any sense of human rights couldn't vote to endorse this. The UK has the same issue. The socialist-leaning Labour Party has significant issues with anti-Semitic attitudes. The neo-fascist-leaning Conservatives are steeped in Islamophobia. I think they just pick a side in the Middle East conflict, which is deeply problematic for an effective dialogue. All the morons that think not voting for Biden is the same as voting for Trump. Voting power comes from voting for those that represent your cause. If you vote based on who you think is going to win, you're the exact reason our politics are deadlocked between idiots. You're weak. Fuck Biden. Fuck Trump. And fuck this country and Democrats for using fear to force our votes instead of making any meaningful changes. Every president is a genocidal piece of shit, and this is a fake democracy. I hope both of their old asses die before the elections even happen. Trump won't change anything. He will frame it differently. At the end of the day, no president will change long-term foreign policies in place and planned for the next 50 years. If you place that much faith in a single person, you're doomed no matter what IMO. Binary thinking on the part of progressives was what led to Trump winning in 2016, and why the Supreme Court is now stacked with fringe right conservatives. Let me clue you in, there is no perfect candidate, and refusing to vote for Biden is a vote for Trump. People always say he is better than the other guy, but I cannot see how anything can sink lower than funding and running diplomatic support on a genocide. Better to withdraw consent from the Democratic Party and the farce of democracy that elections provide. I doubt I ever heard this sentiment. Irrespective of whoever becomes the president, no one will give up Israel's support. Foreign policy doesn't run on emotions and ideals, especially when Middle East and Africa are trying partnership with China and Russia. People can just not vote for either. You can't win an election telling people the other guy is worse, but offer them no reason to vote for you. All you can achieve is stopping people voting for him. Then you need to give them a reason to vote for you. There's no Western leader who will benefit the Palestinian cause. Period. Countries side with Israel for their benefit. There's no benefit to supporting a country that does not even exist. US, Canada for X do not recognize Palestine as a country. Some of it is probably warranted, but claiming Biden and Trump are two sides of the same coin is the most genuinely idiotic, naive, reductive bullshit opinion you could possibly have about this election. Well, it would cause the complete collapse of American foreign relations, and possibly the country itself. So if you think that would help, to be clear, you're wrong if you think that. But I'm sure it's a position that has its proponents. I saw Bassem Youssef saying this. I thought this guy was smart, but now he's saying he wants Biden to lose to teach him a lesson. It is perhaps the stupidest shit I have ever heard, and this guy has a ton of Arab fans. We are fucking doomed. Not voting for Biden is not about thinking that Trump can do better. He might even do worse. Not voting for Biden is to show to him, as well as any future president, that not representing his voters will lead to him not being re-elected. Take control over your own political party and let them know they will no longer be elected again if they don't represent their voters, so that in future elections there is some actual democracy going on. I refuse to vote affirmatively for genocide. I don't care if that makes it more likely that a more impassioned potential genocider is gonna win over reluctant, but actual genocider. I'm not casting my vote for a genocider. I'm not endorsing anyone with my vote that will not ask for a ceasefire. What Trump might do isn't going to persuade me to look away from what's happening right now. Besides, voting for the lesser of two evils still gets you evil. This line of thinking is toxic. It was brought up during the civil rights era among many other such moments to discredit the push of the will of the majority. You really need to think about how you're thinking of. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call a loaded question. It presupposes an assumption from the get-go. In this case, the question being asked assumes that whomever the person answering supports Trump. It wouldn't, neither would a Biden victory. And it's not a conflict, it is a genocide. One that neither Biden nor Trump will do jack shit about when they're not actively supporting the murder of millions. It won't, but it might at least make it a point to the Democrats that giving a genocidal country a blank check isn't the way to attract voters. Are they trying to outcompete the Republicans on policy? Can someone explain why a war that has been going on longer than any of us have been alive on the other side of the earth is so important when the lives of daily Americans get worse by the day? Trump was close to the Middle East peace accords, and very little fighting in me happened under Trump. But this is read it and people don't listen to facts, so bring on the downvotes. It won't be better at all. Remember how Trump fixed the Middle East. Then this genocide happened. It's all talk, a show. Upload to get more votes. Trump doesn't care. When Israel attacked the USS Liberty, committed the Lavon affair, and killed a US civilian, Rachel Corrie, without any repercussions, Israel owns the United States. Biden should be giving people a non-genocidal candidate to vote for, and instead he's putting this election in danger. It's weird that this isn't about him. Palestinian American here. Not voting for Biden over this is incredibly short-sighted and dumb as hell. There is a literal settlement name after Trump.